Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. We are continuing on our journey to make new friends, and we're now going to make a friends with. Did I click? Oh no, I clicked the wrong one. I'll just give you a second. Happens sometimes. Volume 12. God, you have a headache. Oh yeah, this is the beginning. Tiny kid. So you are here, in jail. You always knew you would end up here eventually, but you were expecting a human jail, not this. It all happened so fast. You were walking down another Italian street in search of friends when you heard the telltale sound of machinery behind you, and before you could escape, some giant metal drone with a rocket ass scooped you up and flew you away with you. You were honestly surprised that the drone didn't execute you on sight. They tried to do that before, after all. Perhaps your numerous shenanigans have grown so vast and ridiculous, someone wants to see you in person before you die. If only to have the chance to ask you before you, what the fuck. In any case, you aren't complaining. Not about being brought in alive, at least. You have plenty of other things to complain about, though. This cell sucks. It's hard, cold, and full of this gross-looking moss that could probably kill you since everything else on this planet sure can. There's a couple patchwork holes in the back wall of the cell, which aren't enough to wiggle your way out of, though, but are enough to let in the light from the outside. You have been here since a few hours before dawn, and now it's midday, which means scorching rays of sunlight are now streaming their way into your cell and forcing you to dart around the shadiest spots as the sun makes its way across the sky. If that weren't enough, it's also hammering rain outside, which really isn't doing much to stymie the sunlight. You think the rain might be acidic too? Fun! Intermingling with the rain, you've been hearing some sounds coming from other rooms. Interrogations, maybe? Torture? Whatever it is, you're not a fan. And would somebody please fix this leak in the roof? You have to listen to one more drop of water exploding onto the floor like a nuclear fucking bomb. Your shit is going to take an extended sabbatical from the handle. To conclude, it is not great. You would like out right now, preferably. You're hoping that someone would conveniently appear in time with your internal monologue, but no such luck. Ooh, there she is. Your new savior is small, probably the smallest troll you met so far, and a possible exception of Amnesia, and she looks about as young as Amnesia as well. She's got a wild pigtail sprouting from her head and a twitchy look in her eye, like she's going to start sprinting the second she hears a sound. She opens your cell door with a creak and gestures down the hallway with a quick jerk of her head. Come on, it's me now, quickly, head down, head. Asking questions. Let's see. Ask questions. You have so many questions. Which of your many lovely friends was willing to help you escape? Who is she? What's your deal? How did she know? She shushes you, her eyes narrow into an appraisal squint as she looks you over. Now, Debrida, figures. Listen, I don't have time to explain that, and I'm not pulling my neck out any further. So here's what we're going to do, okay? You're going to run, not too far out of, because you don't want to wind up in the undead territory. Stick to the city, find a nice hiding place, and yeah. She rather forcibly stuffs what appears to be a military-grade umbrella into your hands and shoves you out the back door into rain and sunlight. When you turn to protest, the lock on the door clicks shut and you're stuck outside. What was that she said about the undead? Follow her. You follow her down the hallway, keeping quiet as instructed, even though you have so many questions you want to ask her. Questions like, what's her name is, or where you are, or why they haven't fixed the fucking leak in the roof. Instead, you just hurriedly eye closely behind as she takes you to a stairwell in the back of the building, up multiple flights of stairs. Peeking out the window of each door you pass, you see what seems to be an evidence locker, and then a row of tightly packed cubicles, and then a long, winding hallway. This is where she opens the door and ushers you through. The hallway is full of electronically locked doors with troll signs on them, the overwhelming majority of them of which are teal. The only other presence here seems to be an automated cleaning robots. You are unsurprised to see that. Troll robots come with their knives pre-attached. She punches a series of numbers and letters into a keypad beside one of the doors, bearing her sign and a name, and then slips inside. You follow. Well, here we are, my hive away from hive. You can be a bit louder now, but no shouting. That'll just be weird as hell, buddy. Oh, and my name's Tirona, by the way. You politely refrain from shouting as you introduce yourself at her. Tirona pulls up a chair and sits down on her at her husk top, tapping some. So what are you gonna do here? So what we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna go ahead and access your file in our system. Shouldn't be too hard to find since you're a weird alien. Yep, here we go. That's what we're looking for. Time to make a few edits. Hands in, fingers flying quickly over the keys. She's absurdly fast on the keyboard, her eyes darting back and forth across the screen. Now, normally I wouldn't pull anything this risky, and I certainly wouldn't be helping out a criminal, but I have it on a good source that you're not the kind of person we should be letting run in a cell, or worse. Right now, you're in our system and on a lot of weird and serious offenses, but you and I, we know that the only way you're really guilty of is trying to keep your head and shoulders attached, yeah? I'm just gonna click here and delete a few things, and there you go. You're clean. Wow, just like that, huh? You thank her profusely, and even begin to consider groveling at her feet, but she cuts you off. Listen, I'm just doing the grunt work for you. Wasn't really my decision to spring you. Let's just say you and I have a mutual friend, wink wink nudge nudge. I run errands for him sometimes in exchange for information. I just happen to be pulling an all day over here anyways, so I was in the right place at the right time. This mutual friend of yours sounds like a dead ringer for Mallek. Hey, so another friend of Mallek, okay. Friend of Mallek. Friend of Mallek. Wow, knowing a cerulean high places is already paying off some great dividends. It beats Altaria at least. At least all you got from her were some really weird DMs on Twitter from her stream followers. Anyway, speaking of being in the right place, what is this place anyways? This place is, well, it's a lot of things. Jail and a courthouse and an office and a whole lot more. Basically, if you're a teal looking to learn how to do teal things, this is where you go for a hands-on internship. Most of it is law-related, of course, but there's a couple semi-related fields for the go-getters looking to do something a little different. Like me. Yep. I beat yourself. You're just dying to know what I get up to in this hollowed halls, don't you? Surprisingly, a brilliant mind like this Kazu is doing some real important work. Is what I bet you're thinking, and you are absolutely correct, my friend. So, mentions Kasund. Bulbs on this. A few clicks of the wiggly bulbous mouse of her husk uploads of several images. You glance at her screen and the recognition center in your brain goes haywire with the meme. Alien culture or not, you know memes when you see them. God, you miss memes. Check it out, check it out. They're a little corny, but I know Trizza's gonna love them. She's a real sucker for this kind of thing. One of them is an image with a macro featuring Trizza doing her makeup with the caption, "Trees are so hot, rebels are so nice." Another seems to feature Troll's brains, at least I hope those are brains, of varying sizes of antenna colors. Being a rebel is a small maroon brain. Sympathetic with rebels is the medium-sized olive brain. Worshipping Trizza is the giant purple brain. These on Isel be going up the way going up in the web soon, but for now I've got plenty of other memes circulating. See, I made a bunch of picture accounts and got some techie troll to automate them for me. He was hyped up the excitement enough to do some work on Trizza's behalf. I tell you, some of these accounts just pretend to be regular trolls and others are just jokes nightly, big, funny, relatable laugh humor, you know? They're racking up the follows as we speak. And the point of them is just to put Trizza's names out there. That's how you get them. You start with a couple of insidious jokes and pure beast pics, and then bam, you're spreading the good word of the empire, and everyone accepts it because your chitter count is so funny and hip. I call them memaganda. It's gonna be the next big thing, I tell you. It does seem pretty clever, the way of spreading propaganda. Really effective on today's modern youth. It also deeply unnerves you, but you leave that part out. There's just something wrong about memes being used for evil. Thank you. Glad someone appreciates all this hard work I'm doing here instead of just brushing me off. I've had to do a lot of overtime putting out propaganda for the empire lately, just between you and me. Although this isn't exactly much of a secret anymore. There's talk of a rebellion brewing like a real, actual big scale on one, instead of just a bunch of high bloods getting paranoid because a burgundy looked at them funny. And it's pretty scary actually, and I hope I won't get swept up in all of it. Something nasty breaks out. Yeah, that's the vibe you've been getting. You're about to ask for more info about this rebellion when she cuts you off and keeps rambling on. She seems like she's got a lot to say. You get the impression that nobody else here listens to her, possibly because she's so young compared to most of them. But saving you from jail cell is a good way to get you to pay attention. But here, the thing, despite being a whole lot of potential trouble, it's a great opportunity to show them the Empire just how invaluable my skills will be for them. See, I've got it all planned out. I'm sure everything will be fine, Tirona. First, I need to prove to Trizza how useful and clever I am, and how helpful I can be for her regime. Then when Trizza comes of age, she'll dethrone the current empress and take her place. Most trolls just love Trizza, and those who don't are gonna get themselves culled real quick, so I'm sure she'll have plenty of support when the time comes for their duel. Once she's in full power, I snag myself a nice position as her propaganda minister. If I'm real lucky, I can wield in my way being an assistant to His Honorable Tyranny himself. His Honorable Tyranny? You don't think you've heard of this guy before. You assume a particular high-ranking troll in the legislative process. Oh no, he's just a fuck-off huge monster who passes judgment on criminals by eating them. Or beating anyone who bugs him, really. He presides over particularly noteworthy trials, especially at the extreme courts. In retrospect, you should have known. If monsters can be parents, they surely can be judges too. But what exactly is the appeal here? Who wouldn't want to be big and handsome and strong enough to devour anyone who annoys you? It's the perfect life, I tell you. There. As as it stands, since I can't be him, I at least can be his best buddy and most perfect little helper. And doing all the behind-the-scenes work is a lot safer than trying to actually hunt down or prosecute criminals, I'll tell you that much. I mean, yeah, he might yeet me, but that's just normal workplace safety hazard, really, and nothing I can't handle. She really does have it all planned out, doesn't she? I'm impressed. Thank you. But I can't do it all alone. I'm gonna need some help along the way from a very talented and clever associate or two. I bet you know who I'm talking about. Aaron Muskers or classmates? No, dummy, sheesh. Here I'm trying to buddy you up and flies right over your thick pan. I'm talking about you. I need your help. I think after bailing you out of that jam, I've earned it. What did you say? The older I rake my claws down your back, you rake yours down mine, details, you know? Trolls' idioms are still inscrutable as ever, but you do know a thing or two about claws and about helping people to earn their good graces. What you mean? I've ever heard of those old adagirs? Teals talk. Well, a lot of teals have been talking about the strange alien going around getting all buddy-buddy with the cast. The way I see it, someone like that might just know how to get me into their offices and jig up some dirt on them and their potential rebellion connections. I keep saying they should start selling out for a grander scan tech, but no one ever listens to me. No way, no how. A regular password system ought to be enough, right? Ha! They really wish those locks were as secure as they think they are. And you can figure out their codes, no problem, I'm sure. What do you say, Paul? How about help me help the Empire and root out that rebellion scum? Oof, you're not particularly keen on betraying your friends, but you do owe Tria a favor now, and you'd love to make another pal while you're at it. There's gotta be some way you can maneuver your way out of this mess. You tell her, sure, you offer some help. Someone's office, it should be... Let's see. And her voice is taking a lot out of me. Segura. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. He's real smart and a good talking. He's always got that latest gossip, so you think he'll be my kind of guy. But he's sure just such a slander, like a real pee-pee creepster. Not to mention, he charges out the sniff tubes for all of his info. No thanks, I'll handle it myself. Ooh, I imagine this he's got turned out to be a rebel all along. I really hope we find something on him here. After some elite hacking, that is, punching his wiggling day into the keypad, the door to his office clicks open. The two of you slip inside and glance around. You are immediately reminded of his hive, almost eerily reminded of it, in fact. Did you just order copies of all the same minimalistic antique furniture and have them sent to his office? That's, well, don't know exactly what it is, but it's certainly impressive. You know, I'm not sure that this vase is regulation. Take a picture of it just in case, will you? Sure thing. And if you happen to accidentally delete the picture later, well, actually you have accidentally deleted a bunch of pictures before. Figuring out your troll phone has been an ordeal. You line up the camera to take a photo and fuck. You were about to press the button and your phone received an incoming call from someone, and you end up hitting the answer call button instead. Now you're going to be trapped in a social encounter that you weren't mentally prepared for. No! Wait, it's just Tangora. That's no problem at all. He's Canarius and easy to talk to, and you're standing in his office. Fuck. And throwing on your most practice everything is perfectly fine expression. You're trying to angle the camera so you can't tell where you are. My apologies for bothering you on such short notice. I've recently learned through the grapevine that you may have been responsible for certain changes in Kaskiri's attitudes as of late. I thought it might be prudent to let you know that. Wait, is that my office? Did you break into my office? No, God no, that's not his office. It's just an office that coincidentally happens to look exactly like his. His face has been frozen mid-smile. Now it slowly seems to twist until the smile doesn't look nearly as friendly or genuine as it did a moment ago. He starts to laugh, little raspy chuckles under his breath. I see. More the fool I was ever to believe I could trust a fellow liar. Is this Gallic's work? No, it can't be. He doesn't do that kind of subterfuge. It was all a game to you. Yes, that must be it. Of course it was. We're not here to make friends. What? No, this is exactly what you're here to do. The bills I so graciously went to your state. No matter. You can expect a very hefty invoice to arrive via email as soon as I finish typing it up. No, please no. It doesn't have to end this way. You were just trying to secure another friendship. You know how it goes, right? Saying you're doing anything for a bit of social gain. Oh, but of course. And I'd be very happy to continue our business relationship in the future. Once I've been reimbursed in full for my time and expenditures. Farewell. No. He ends the call and his face disappears. The friendly little pew sound that gripe makes not possibly underscore the finality and tragedy of the situation. Your heart truly is broken. But hey, at least you can trade one friend for another, right? Now that you've seen what you're willing to sacrifice for it, surely Tirona will... Tirona? Oh shit, at some point while you're distracted, she made a break for it. Now you're left with a knot but a hefty fine and ache in your chest for where friendship used to be. How about Trizza? It's gotta be Trizza. She runs a tight, if sleep-deprived ship. You'll give it a good try, fail to find anything useful. And Tirona will appreciate your attempts. Trizza, huh? Yeah, she's got that vibe there, you know? She talks about improving the justice system, and what kind of person that's that, huh? A rebel sympathizer, that's you. The interior justice system has worked fine for hundreds of sweeps. The only person who ought to be proposing changing is Trizza herself. But obviously, there's nothing to change she'd have done it already. Brain is kind of working hard with the 3Z situation, double 3Z. Anyways, this Trizza's door is right over here. So why don't you start working your magic? An idea comes to you. You start tapping away at a phone, much to Tiria's jargon. Hey buddy, were you trying to break into someone's office? This is no time to play Fappy Talons creature. Explain to you that you're looking at Trizza on your phone to consolidate information and improve your chances of guessing her password. Lucy, sorry, I'm just a little antsy here, I guess, Turning to the keypad, you start inputting your guesses. You try the birthday listed on Trizza's Twitter profile. Nope, even the name of her mate sprite doesn't work. Then something clicks. Everyone expects a long, complicated password, right? You just try 2 paltry digits instead. 69. Click. The light goes green and the door to her office slides open. Bingo. Feeling pretty chipper about your breaking and entering skills, you usher Tirona inside with an exaggerated bow. She cackles and skips right in, making her way over to the husk top, sitting on Trizza's crowded desk. There's papers and old mugs and lying around everywhere, and the rest of the room is about disorganized as a desk, with towering stacks of books threatening to collapse if you so much as breathe wrong. The Empire already monitors online communications, of course, but we got the tools for those sneaky sneaks who try and hide things off the cloud. Tirona produces a small device, bright red with gold accents, and plugs it in to what appears to be a USB slot on the husk top. It wiggles upsettingly. I'll go through her files and start looking through all of those books and folders with me. You offer a thumbs up and turn your attention to the absolutely massive pile of literature that is strewn throughout the office. You're not really giving it your full effort, hesitant to pry into Trizza's stuff, but you get the sense that she isn't hiding anything here anyways. Behind you, Tirona is clicking through folders on the husk top, the exaggeration on your voice steadily growing. Useless school-feeding assignments, copies of court transcripts, a bunch of news. It's all normal Teal stuff. There's nothing incriminating on her at all. Where is she hiding it? Tirona pulls away from the husk top and dives into the stack of books with the gusto of a small child in a ball pit, rifling through the pages as quickly as she can. It isn't long before she gives up that pursuit to emerging from the pile and shower of loose pages. Heck, I can't find every evidence of wrongdoing anywhere. No hidden files on her husk top, no secret stash between the pages of books, nothing. She stamps back and forth, pacing around the room. There just isn't anything to find. Is that so bad? Yes, she's not bad. Super bad. Look, see? I'm not big and I'm not strong and even if I get a growth spurt when I'm older, it won't change that I don't like to fight. That's just not what I'm cut out to do. I'm a thinker and a listener and a talker. Knowledge is power, I know. And the only power I'm good with. It's the only that'll keep me in the game. Everyone's gotta play nice and gotta get off my case because they all know I've always got the dirt. But all those shifty, crafty teal jerks keep trying to hide all their secrets from me. I'm going to be hooped if I can't get one over on them. Yara yanks her pigtails, thumping down against the wall, looking as fragile as ever as you've seen her. This calls for a pep talk. You sit down across from her and offer a gentle smile. You know that where she's coming from. When you came here, you were a mess. You still kinda are, and all you had was your guts, your mind, and your goofy charisma. But you've been blundering all the way across the planet, but somewhere in between all the blundering, you made friends, you gained skills, you figured out to keep surviving, even when it seemed impossible. And if you can do it, she can do it too. Sure, she may not be big and strong as she'd like. She won't always win. Sometimes there's going to be days like today's where she doesn't succeed, but she's got this spark in her. You can see it, that she tells you she'll be fine as long as she keeps her head up and tries to hang in there. Tirona perks right up. Your motivational speech game is really on the ball today. Yeah. You're right. It's motivational than a bust, but I sure ain't. I've already got all kinds of connections and pals and skills. I mean, the guy I run those errands for, he says I'm one of the smartest and cleverest teals he's ever met, and that I'm really a jerk for my agent. You never find out what else he says because you're interrupted by the sci-fi whoosh of the office door opening, and Trizza steps through. There's a long, awkward pause before she raises an eyebrow at Tirona. Now, just what in the hell are you two doing in my office? Tirona begins stammering response, but Trizza jerks her head toward the door. Yeah, I'm gonna need to get you to get out right now. Turns to you. Not you. We need to have a chat. Trizza flashes you a terrified look before scurrying out of the room, door sliding shut behind her. Trizza glances at the door, then pulls you toward the most secluded corner in the room, where books are piled so high they practically reach your ceiling. She speaks to you in a low, hushed whisper. A good idea, because you bet a troll buck or two that Tirona is listening outside the door. Hey, so, that was some good thinking, texting me as soon as you got your home husk back. You shrug humbly. You're getting good at leveraging your bountiful stockade of friends. I wonder what she thinks I'm going to do to you. There's a lot of rumors about me. Most of them are true. But when you look as tired as I do every day, trolls whisper. She chuckles lightly and takes a sip of water before sighing. Can't believe she thought I would ever be dumb enough to keep incriminating documents in my office. She must be getting real desperate to prove herself. This is exactly my point about how fucked up it is here. Everyone trying to climb over each other out of the muck and pull the rest down, like shell scuttlers in a seafood storage device. Poor girl. She thinks she's got everyone in the palm of her hand, but she's being played as much as any of us. The rest of any of us schmucks. Another sign. You feel like sighing as well. He turns a second quirk. We've already heard enough from you about all that, so I could pretend that you'd the fuck out or something. I need to reorganize all this shit now that she's ruined my old system. Her office looks far better organized than it did when you walked in, actually. But you're not about to split hairs over when Trizza just bailed you out of a potential disaster. You thank her and give her a quick hug and then slip out of the office. Tirona nearly falls over herself. stumbling away from the door where she was clearly trying to listen in. Wow, you're here and still alive and in one piece. That must have been a real close one. You know what she does to people who cross her, right? Well, I'll give you a hint, pal. It starts with a disembowelment and only gets worse from there, huh? How do you make it out? Oh, you know, talking your way out of a jam? It's total breeze. Troya seems starry-eyed and impressed. You sure do know how to handle yourself, especially for a weird alien. I think you and I might ought to stick together. Technically, you don't owe me anything anymore, but little people work best in numbers, yeah? We could use a friend like me. You smile, basking in a now familiar glow of camaraderie. Yeah, we could use a friend like her. And you think she could use a friend like you, too. You did good. And time, finally, for the last ending, Tagore. After mulling it over for a while, you decide Tagore is the safest choice. Sure, he's the guy with the sword, but he is also by far the least likely to harbor any rebel sympathies, so you won't be getting anyone in trouble here. Yeah, Tagore, that's an interesting choice. I tell you what, he's always sucking up to those purples and trying to make himself look all cool and knowledgeable about law stuff. So you think he'd be clean, but maybe he just all up front. I'm working on a video about rebel sympathers right now, actually, and that one's one of the big bold points that I go over, how sometimes the guy trying too hard to look like he's on the level is actually as far off the level as it gets. Yeah, let's see what this guy's hiding, why don't we? Whizzing on over to his door, you consider the keypad. It shouldn't be too hard, it'd be a harder password to guess. It's got the name of one of his favorite animes, right? You punch in one and nope, a buzzer sounds. You try another, nada. But to your delight, the door clicks and begins to slide open to the third anime title. You glance over your shoulder to see Tirona beaming at you from his right behind you, and then turn back to the door and yikes! A katana comes swinging out toward you on a wire, connects you, dive out of the way before it connects, crashing to the floor in the process. You groan and stagger back to your feet, and hear a familiar voice sounding from the speaker in Tagore's room. Foolish evildoer! Do you really think it would be that simple? You've fallen for my trap. The 3 pitiful guesses were all it took to seal your doom. Not that it's going to do you any good while you bleed out on the floor. Sayonara, trespasser. The message seems to cut off there, but then there's some muffled sounds like a microphone boom. What do you think, Tadashi? It's going to look so cool when I show it off to my colleagues. You breathe a sigh of relief. That katana was aiming right for your head. You almost got skewered. Talk about a close one, right, Tadora? Nora? Game over. We're going to end this episode here. I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path, wherever it might lead you into the future. Bye-bye.